Hello! It's been a while since I've made any videos, but I think it's time to make one. This is regarding the screws in the gate post that I've been selling. So this is the screw I'm currently using. It's an M1.6 screw, and I use a heat set nut in there to I put a heat set nut, brass nut there for metal threads, and then I screw that in. And while this does work pretty well, I think there's maybe a slightly better option, or maybe we could just say a different option, because for people that want metal threads, that is a decent option. But the one thing that I've noticed a few people, not everybody, but some people have, is if they torque down too tightly on that screw, they can pull the heat set nut out of this post. So I'm not a fan of that. And the fact that those brass heat set nuts take time and take my hands to do them, it raises the cost of them to you guys. So I've been thinking of other options, namely these two. And here's our familiar OEM screw. So I'm just going to measure the OEM screw real quick. We're good, close to 2 millimeters in diameter, so it's like basically an M2 screw. And then this is that screw, basically an M1.6. And then these two, it's a little bit slightly over 2 millimeters. This one's about right at 2 millimeters. I haven't tried this one yet, but it looks promising. This one also looks promising. So what I like about these screws is that the threading is a little more coarse, and they're designed to cut threads into plastic. A lot of people don't really care for the plastic threads, and I don't blame them. I don't really care for them either, but the reason why this could be a better option is that you don't have to worry about the threads, the threaded insert pulling out of the post. Another option is to basically just use an OEM screw. My gates have a hole already printed in them, and I'm gonna make an option. I think I might have 3 options. Basically like an add-on. So when somebody buys a gate from now on, it's gonna be weird because I already have some that already have heat set inserts. So I'll probably have a separate listing for gates, and basically the base price of the gate will be just the part without anything, no screw, no nothing. And then they can add on the cost of, say, the heat set nut plus this screw, or these screws are comparable in cost. I don't know, this one could be better because it's closer to the OEM sizing. This one has more of like a washer top, let's see, and this one has more of like a pan head. I like the look of this one a lot. This one could be the winner. Let me just check that one with the washer top, see if it even fits through the hole. I haven't done this yet, but we want a snug fit in that hole. It does go through the hole, and it looks kind of like it fits well. Looks like you'll be able to lock it down pretty tightly. But what's cool about these bigger diameter screws is, you see when I do that, I'm wiggling the screw, it's not moving. And any slop in there is going to create weird adjustability. See how I'm wiggling the screw, it's hardly moving. That's really good. I'm going to do the same thing with the other screw just to show you. Get this out of here. And also these screws are T6 Torx. Torx is so much less likely to strip. Even those new stainless screws, the ones that I put with the heat set nut, they're Phillips, and I have stripped some of them when I've worked with them before. So it's okay. I'm wiggling this one, and there's a teeny tiny bit more play, but it's barely noticeable. That's basically the amount of clearance that an OEM screw has. So maybe this one, I'm going to check and see if the coarse threads, they might be a little bit too fat. I don't know. I'm going to try it, screw it into my gate post and see if that works. But I do know this one right here with the pan head works really well. This is the OEM screw. I'm just going to put it through there, and I'll just show you the play that we get. And you wiggle the screw. Sorry, this is, get the camera to focus a little bit. There we go. Okay. There. Okay. I'm wiggling the screw, and there's not a ton of play. There's a little bit of play. You see that? The more play you have, the more weirdness you'll have with when the gate is seated on here. And if your screw, because there's 3 points, 1, 2, 3, and if this point is off, it could create a little bit of slight adjustment that you'd have to do. But basically, I print these the way I print these. That hole is, this hole is centered on this hole, so they should actually line up perfectly and hold each other in the right positioning. So but let me show you something on this. This module has the heat set nut in it, and I'm going to loosen the screw a little. So get a little more looser. There's not too much play, but there is a teeny tiny amount of play that is introduced with this. This screw has some clearance, more clearance than the other. It has about 0.25 millimeters all around in that hole. So I'm just going to put in, I've tried this screw already. I'm going to put it into this gate. So yeah, just and there's this. So if you were to buy one of these screws from me, I'll probably have the screw already screwed into the gate post. We call it a boss feature in engineering. It'll already be screwed in to the boss, so the threads will have already been cut by me screwing the screw in for you. Okay, and I'm like trying to wiggle that, and it is locked down. And it looks pretty clean, you know. So this screw is a winner already. And one of the things that you want to do when this is the only caveat to this screw, is that we have now plastic threads in this boss inside in that post in the gate. When you uninstall your screw and reinstall it when you're opening and closing your module, you'll have to do this. So I'm threading, I'm unscrewing. See how that screw just dropped down into the threads? I'm going to reverse, drop down. When it drops down, then you go in. That's exactly what we do with our OEM screws. Everybody's used to doing this. And now we have a Torx head. This is much less likely to strip. I think this is a really good screw right here. This could be the winner. Let's just check this other one. It's got even more coarse threads, and the coarser the threads, the less likely they are to strip. So this could be even safer option. But I'm going to take oh, let me use a better, there we go. I'll use this one. So this is one of the notchy gates. I'm going to be releasing some of these. I'll make a separate video explaining the texture on these. But so here's that other screw, the one that's got coarser threads. You know what? I'm not gonna mess up. Let me do this on a gate that I'm not as. This gate is important, so I'm gonna do it on a different gate actually. These gates are a little more experimental, and I can play with the. I feel like there's less demand for them, so I'm not okay. I'm okay if this one gets messed up. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't want that. I want things to be good, but okay, this is the one with the washer, coarser thread. It doesn't actually have a washer, it just has like a washer type head, and so it should lock down pretty well. And there's a tiny bit more resistance when it's going in the first time on this one, I'm noticing. But it seems to lock down pretty nicely also. Super tight lock actually. Man, that one's really tight. And it's actually centering the post because there's pretty much no clearance around the hole. So it's basically centering the post where I want it to be in my design. So this could be the winner. This is a good screw actually. So this is my first time ever even installing this one. I'm just gonna take this out and just see how it goes into the gate post without it being. And it's hard to see, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I can see threads that are cut into that gate. And since the threads are coarser, there's a more dramatic drop down as it. See how it dropped down as you reverse the screw. So let me try to hold it steady. There, it's a big drop down. And then I'm just going to tighten it in just to see how far in it goes. Yeah, and that's about on par with OEM. So it goes in. Now the last one I want to show you is the possibility of you providing your own screw, which you already have access to. And these screws were designed with this module shell, the bottom shell, in mind. You can literally just take a gate, take your screw, and just go OEM. And it does work, and it does lock it down. So the OEM screw is actually a plastic thread cutting screw. It seems to be more designed for ABS, because ABS is kind of a more of a hard plastic. Nylon's a little bit more, has a little bit more like gumminess to it. So, but nevertheless, this OEM screw does work. So I will provide these basically as 3 options. I'll have two listings. One listing will be for the existing Gates stock that I have, the stuff that I have in stock that already has the old standard of the heat set nut with the Phillips. And then the new listing will be, you purchase the gate without anything in it, no screw, plus you can add on optionally a few kinds of screw. So you can do this screw, the pin head, or the washer head, wherever it is. There it is, the washer head, or the old standby, the heat set nut insert with the lock washer and Phillips head screw. This is a good screw, I like it, but I'm trying to save myself time and labor. I'm going to price anything that doesn't involve this lower. So this will just add probably $1. This will probably add like $15 because of the time that it takes me to set up and everything and make it happen. So I want to actually encourage people using these. I actually personally think it's a better option. This one could be even better. Seems really good. They both seem really good. But this is T6 Torx. Much less likely to strip. These threads are coarser. They bite down into the nylon better. I think it's just a better option. You don't have any risk of pulling out any kind of an insert, and you have more of a sense of, whenever you're threading into plastic, you intellectually think, oh, this is plastic, I have to be careful. I'm not going to torque down on it too tight, but just tight enough to hold the module. But when it's metal, we just think, oh man, I can just torque on that all day long. Well, there's a limit to how much force that insert can take before it pulls out of the post. So most people haven't had the issue of the inserts pulling out, but they have happened here and there, and to me it's discouraging, because I want my products to be extremely durable and high quality. And I think this might be an option that might make it, even though it's kind of counterintuitive that you have plastic threads, I think this is a more durable option in the long run, and it seems to center everything better onto this bottom housing. So that's just an update on this screw. Thank you for watching. Notice there's a clarity behind all the thoughts and suggestions, visualizations, experiences that we're having. There's a clarity that is pure, clear. There's a clarity, a purity that is able to perceive all of this, that is conscious. If you were dreaming this right now, you could be having the most tumultuous, turmoil-filled experience. But that clarity, which gives rise to the dream, the conscious clarity, would ultimately be unaffected by what's arising. And that is the case right now. And this unaffected consciousness is what I, that which is hearing these words, am. And this conscious clarity transcends experience. When I say it transcends, I mean it is present before, during, and after a particular experience arises. And that particular experience could be what looks like a person, an animal, a bird, could be a feeling, a thought, anything. We imagine that we have separate consciousnesses for the states of the mind, or for different animals, different plants, different beings, different people. But if you were to almost turn the camera of your attention around onto this clarity, you'll find that it has no features of its own. And something that has no features of its own is not limited. It is limitation which gives a rise to the shape and form of experience. The shape and form of any particular object that we might find. It has limited contours. But the consciousness which perceives limitation is not itself limited. You are this unlimited self. When you feel this viscerally, your own innate sense of peace comes about. When all formed experience, when I say formed, I mean limited experience, dissolves into your being, which happens basically every night when you take a nice deep rest, deep sleep. When all formed experience dissolves into you, there is the innate experience of your own peace. Peace is not something acquired from outside you. It is basically your own being recognizing itself, either in the midst of experience, in the midst of formed experience, or in the midst of formless experience like deep sleep. In formless experience, it tends to be more natural that peace is revealed. But in an experience like this, when I'm pointing it out, when I am pointing out my own nature to myself, that's all I can ever do. I can only ever point my own nature, my own being out to myself. When I say myself, I don't mean this body or mind. I mean this clarity, this transcendent, pure clarity that is hearing these words right now. I, whoever I am this. I love you.